Thank you. I am fantabulous and you are too. I am Varetta Huggins, your government contracting expert, and I hope everyone's staying safe during this time. I wanted to take this opportunity to let you know that during this pandemic, your federal, state, and local governments are open for business and they are awarding contracts every single day to government contractors. So I thought it would be great for you to know that this presentation, COVID-19 government contracts, how can you get paid during this time? So next slide. Okay, so just a little bit about me. I have over 20 years of experience as a government contractor. I've worked with federal agencies such as NASA, NOAA's National Weather Service, Federal Aviation Administration, Department of Education, U.S. Department of Agriculture, and U.S. Agency for International Development. And working with all those agencies, I was able to help them with their mission. And I want you to know that government contracting is using your tax dollars to be able to operate the government agencies in the United States. So it's your money they're using to be able to do the operations of the United States. So I had the opportunities to be able to work with all those different agencies. Now, in 2009, I started my company, V Project Management Consulting, as a government contracting company. And this was based on my strengths of IT project program and portfolio management. And once I started my company, it took me about a year when I was trying to figure out how do I go after these government contracts? How do I get a new contract? I put my resume out there and I was able to get my first subcontract. And it was with a, a subcontractor that was working under a contract with the Federal Aviation Administration. As soon as I got the agreement, the next thing I started working on is I got my employer identification number. I registered my company with my state, and then I went and got my DUNS number. It was during that time I had already started working as a subcontractor. I decided wanted to be a real registered government contractor, and I started working on getting my cage code. Now, during that time, we were using CCR.gov was the system to be able to use, and I started using that, and then I quickly find out that I didn't know anything. I didn't know how to do this. It took me 4 months to complete that application. And for me, it's because I did not have a a coach. I didn't have someone that was walking me through the process and helping me. It's not that I didn't try. I went to all these seminars that the SBA had, workshops. I went to different local government helping organizations to get help. But I can tell you there's a lot of things out there and they're just telling you what you need to do. No one was telling me how to go and do it. And that was the problem. I had to find out that during the time that I was trying to work on getting registered as a government contractor, that I had to have a website up and running. I had to have my banking information. There's all these different things, and then there's all these different FAR clauses that if you don't know what you're doing, you could trigger an IRS alert. So I didn't know this. There's all these forms you got to fill out when you're working on getting your government contracting cage code, and I didn't understand any of that. But finally, it took me 4 months. I finally got it, and I was like, "Yep, I'm now a government contractor, and this is awesome." And then it took me. I was like, "Okay, well, how do I go and get contracts now?" And so for me, that was the hard part. I was already doing subcontracting. I wanted to move into prime contracting, and again started going to all these different seminars and everything just to understand that process. Finally, I figured out that I had to be on a contracting vehicle, and then it was during that time I filled out the proposal and everything to be able to do that. Got that with the Federal Aviation Administration, And a year after my first subcontract, I got a prime contract. I was excited, started hiring people. I hired about 7 people after that to be able to get the company up and running, to be able to perform. And then about 6 months after hiring all these people, my contract got cut because of federal budget issues. And I was in a really bad place. I was just upset, and I had to start laying off all these people that I had just hired. And it was at that time, at my lowest point, that I realized that systems win, but people fail. I did not have the processes and procedures in place to be able to do government contracting. I didn't have partners. I couldn't go on teaming arrangements. So I started building this up. I started getting back out there. I got other subcontracting opportunities. And it was during that time that I'm trying to build on my new system that I was creating, that a buddy of mine, we had been on a contract together before, and he was like, hey, Varetta, I know you already started creating your company. Can you give me some ideas on how to do that? I want to have my own government contracting company. And I did that for him. He was able to get his cage code and get up and running as a government contractor. Today, he's made millions of dollars in government contracting already. And it was during that time that next thing I know, he started sending all his friends to me. And I started helping them too, and they became government contractors. So it was during that time I'm working on my business, and I'm also helping all these other people to become government contractors. And I had been getting other contracts that I'm working on. And it was in 2017 at a Small Business Expo similar to this. Of course, it was face-to-face at that time, that I met a mentor who said, Varetta, do you know how many small business owners out there wish they were getting into government contracting? Can you help them? And it was during that time I thought about it. And in 2018, we launched our government contracting success program, where we're now helping small business owners become government contractors. So I've been going around the US speaking at different events, helping small business owners. We now have boot camps that we do that are able to help small business owners become government contractors in 2 days or a weekend. So it depends. But that's what I've been doing, and it's been an awesome experience just to be able to hear the different stories and be able to help government small businesses become government contractors. Today, I want to share with you 3 secrets why you should do business with the federal government. 3 secrets why you should do business with the federal government. Secret number 1, there's money budgeted for government contractors. So whether you're a small, medium, or large business, every year, the federal government, state government, and local government, they have money that they budget just for you. And now there are 24 federal council agencies, and this is the list that's here, and they all have money budgeted for government contractors. So one of the work that I've done with FAA was work on their capital planning and investment control process. And this is a process where they look at the next 3 years in federal government, and they come up with the budget for the next 3 years. And all these agencies, they have money that they have to keep the lights on, they have to keep operations going. The other part of the money is any new projects that they have. And I can tell you one thing that they're doing right now is IT digital transformation. That's huge right now. And it's huge because think of, we're in a pandemic, most people are home, and government still has to keep running. Who's getting all that work done? Who's keeping all the lights on? And it's all these federal agencies, they have their government contractors who's doing that work. Now, that means they have to pay these government contractors. And so IT digital transformation is a new project where they're trying to get everything online, trying to get everything where everything can be done And it doesn't have to be on a system that's in your office. It could be digital, it could be online. And so a lot of these agencies are moving from having all these data systems and having everything where all their data that they have and everything that they're doing is online, so you can just access it through Wi-Fi or whatever link to get to that system. But that's one of the areas that they're improving, which means there are lots of contracts in that area. Now, this slide. So we pulled this from usaspending.gov, and I just wanted to show you in FY 2019, you had, and I'm looking at all 4 quarters, federal government spent $6.9 trillion. I don't know how many of you know how many zeros come with trillion, but that's how much money they spent. Now look down here, I have over 900 billion of that went to contractual services and supplies. And that's how much money was spent in government contracting. So I want you to understand, we're talking billions of dollars here. And since I've been tracking this, every year over $500 billion is spent on government contracting. So I wanted to let you know there's money budgeted for you. And if you look at this slide, we've got Department of Defense. Every year, they receive over 50% of that budget. Over 50% of the money goes to Department of Defense, and that's your Army, your military, your Navy. And think whatever they have on those bases are basically what you have in your house. So they're buying everything, any and everything. And if they're buying any and everything, I'm sure that whatever it is you're selling, federal government's buying, if it's legal, of course. So secret number 2, 23% of all that money that's budgeted for federal contracting is reserved for small business. So I just told you about all the money that's budgeted for government contracting. Now I'm telling you, out of that, 23% of that pie goes only to small businesses. So if you are a small business, put on the chat that, hey, we're a small business, and you can put your company's name just to let me know who you are. But 23% of over $900 billion is over 200. Over $200 billion is reserved for small businesses. So if you're a small business out there, that's money that's sitting waiting for you to come get it. Now here you've got targets. So federal agency have targets, and what the 23% is, it's really a target that all these agencies have to meet. So Spark Evolve, you're a small business. Yes, there's 23% of that money is waiting for you. Now, out of that 23%, up to 16% of that will go to companies that meet a certain socioeconomic condition. And let's talk about that. So secret number 3, 16% of all budgeted federal contracting dollar is reserved for women-owned small business. That's 5% they get. Small disadvantaged business, they get 5%. So that's kind of like your 8A companies. Veteran-owned small business, they get 3%. And a Hubzone, they get 3%. So if you qualify for any of these socioeconomic status, put it on the chat. Let us know. If you're a woman-owned small business, and the name of your company. Why? Because there's money in the socioeconomic status just for your company if you qualify for any of these. And that's the secret, is that this money's sitting there waiting for you. But you have to be registered. You have to be a registered government contractor. So I have here 5% of all that over $900 billion is $46 billion. We're still in the billions, guys. So if you qualify for any of these socioeconomic status, there's money sitting there waiting for you to come and get it. So here is the socioeconomic targets for all agencies have to meet these targets. And I track this with SBA every year, and I can tell you, Hubzone, every year we're having issues where a lot of these agencies are not meeting their Hubzone goals. It's only 3%. I'll give you a story. There was one company, one of the partners that we have, they're in a hub zone and they got a building that was in a hub zone, and they were like, hey, let's get that building because it's in a hub zone. Um, and they leased that building. They're in a hub zone area now, so they went and registered as a hub zone company. They got calls because they're in a hub zone, because they're in the database, because they were registered as a hub zone company. They got calls from prime contractors and federal agencies where they can't find anybody else, any other hub zone in that area. And they just got a call saying, hey, we've got this hub zone contract for you. And they didn't have to do anything for the contract. It's just because they were in a hub zone and they were registered. So I want to tell you there's money sitting on the table waiting for you to come get it. But you have to become a government contractor. And if you're qualify for any of these socioeconomic targets, make sure you register for them because there's money in that. Each agency have to meet these goals. So women-owned small business, you could 51% have to be of the owners in that business have to be women. And if you're economically disadvantaged, it means you're economically and socially disadvantaged to be getting the EDWSB. 8A, similar, small disadvantage, your small business and you're disadvantaged economically or socially, and that's 8A. There's a 2-year requirement for that though, so that's the thing, you have to become a government contractor first before you can get the 8A after 2 years. Veteran-owned small business, you have to be a veteran. Once you have the paperwork to show that, then you can go and register and be qualified. And then Hubzone is based on the Hubzone map. And I think after this year, they're moving to trying to get a new map for Hubzone. So this year is critical for you if you're in a Hubzone zip code to be able to get that. So I just shared with you the 3 secrets. And I'm telling you, if you are a business in the US, you qualify to be a government contractor. And there's over $500 billion budgeted every year for government contractors. Secret number 2, I shared with you that there are 23% of that money is reserved only for small businesses. So if you qualify as a small business, there's 23% of that money waiting for you. It's just sitting there. And then 16% of that 23% goes to reserved only for businesses with socioeconomic status. And that's your woman-owned small business, your small disadvantaged business, and your veteran-owned small business, and your Hubzone businesses. So I've shared with you that secret, those 3 secrets, that's their money waiting for you. And again, government buys any and everything. Right now, I saw some procurement opportunities out there. They're looking for real estate. So at Alton, they're looking for real estate. So next thing I want to share with you are 3 steps on how you can get paid selling your goods and services to US federal government during this pandemic, during COVID-19. The first step is how do you register as a government contractor? The next one is talking about your socioeconomic status. And then the third one is how do you go out and find these subcontract and contract opportunities? And the slides will be available. So with number 1, how do you register as a government contractor? So in my story, I shared with you that I had to go and get a DUNS number. Your DUNS number is your data universal numbering system. It's a unique 9-digit number that the federal government uses for businesses. And think of it as kind of like how your Social Security number is used for your personal credit. Well, your DUNS number is used for your business credit. So you do need a DUNS number, and it's based on your physical location. So let's say you have 2 locations for your company. You do business in using Maryland, because that's where I'm at, in Maryland. And if I had another company, another branch of my company that's in Florida, then I had to go and get 2 different DUNS number because I had 2 physical locations for my company. Okay, so go and get that. That's a free number. And sorry, let me go back to that slide. It's on the bottom. It's dnb.com. You can go there and register, and it's a free number that you can get from Duns and Bradstreet. The next thing you need to be able to get is you need to have your NAICS code. So your NAICS code is the North American Industry Classification System that the federal government uses to be able to classify your good and services. And it's any and everything that is being sold in the United States uses this classification system. So you've got 11 to 90, 80, sorry, 92 here. My slides are playing with me. And with that, your 92, sorry, these slides will be provided, so you'll be able to click on this to be able to find where your NAICS code is. So for us, we started with 54. We're a professional services company. And then notice after that, it goes up to a 6-digit code. So our primary NAICS code is 541611, Administrative Management and General Management Consulting Services. So you're gonna figure out what is your 2-digit NAICS code and then go and find the 6-digit code after that. Now, once you find that, you need to find a primary NAICS code, and then you might find, hey, we do this over here. We do training. We do all these other things. So you can find other NAICS code that you can say, hey, we do business under these NAICS codes also. It doesn't have to just be one NAICS code. So figure out what your NAICS codes are, because that's what government needs to know as to what is it you're selling to us, okay? And again, we'll provide the slides to you. So the next part is registering as a government contractor. Today, the site is sam.gov is where you go to register. I will tell you, this is the part where I told you it took me about 4 months to get, because I did not have someone to hold my hands and walk me through that process. The end result of this is once you complete all the forms and everything they have in there, you get a CAGE code. That CAGE code is your government contracting ID. It authorizes you to now become a government contractor to do business directly with the federal government. And I can tell you, there's lots and lots that goes into these forms. These forms, think of this database as it's integrated with irs.gov, with sba.gov. So there's all these integration points. And if you click on the wrong thing because you click yes over here when it's supposed to be a no, that can trigger an IRS alert. And I want you to know this. That's why I'm telling you, get a business coach, get somebody who's already done this to help you when you get to this part. Because if you do the wrong thing, I don't want you to have any kind of audit being put on your company just because you did not know what you were doing when you were doing this application. There are FAR clauses in here that you need to know what they are, or you need somebody to guide you through them that knows what they are. So this is the part. We do have boot camp that we offer for this part. And right now we have a virtual boot camp that we're offering, and you can get this done in 2 days with us. Now, again, it took me 4 months because I did not have someone holding my hand to help me work through this part. But the end result is you're getting a CAGE code. So here you need to get your DUNS number. You need to know what your NAICS codes are. It's going to be asking you for banking information and all your business information. Business information, part of that are your financials. You have to already have your taxes and your accounting up to date. If you don't have that, I would say get an accountant. Part of what we do is we offer accounting services or accounting services. We have an expert in accounting and taxes who's done this, who's been working with small businesses, who will be able to help you with this. And we do have some accounting packages. We have our small business accounting package for those who are trying to become a government contractor. If you're already a government contractor, we also have accounting packages that can help you with your price proposals and everything else. But again, you will need an accountant to help you with this part of registering as a government contractor when you're ready to get your cage code. So again, if you don't have an accountant, you will need to get one. Again, we also offer that as a service. But once you have all this information, you've completed the forms, and there's lots of forms in this database, between 3 to 30 days after, you can get your cage code. Now, we've had people who did our boot camp. Our last boot camp we had was in April, and so, one of the attendees, she had issues with her DUNS number, and so she had to reach out to them, and they were able to fix all her issues, but she still got her cage code within 30 days. So that's what we're offering to be able to help you to get your registered as a government contractor, to be able to get this cage code so you can go after government contracts. Now, step number 2 here is you need to use your socioeconomic status. So I told you all the dollar figures in terms of the percentages here. If you're a woman-owned small business, put in there that you are a woman-owned small business. Put it in the chat, you're a WOSB. Let me know. Because 5% of that money goes to woman-owned small business. Now, with this, you can self-certify when you're completing your application. But after you become a government contractor, you want to go and register and this is with, we do have registration with third-party certifiers that you can do to become a woman-owned small business registered. And that just puts you in different databases that other companies, so I see you guys putting that you're WOSB. Thanks for doing that out there on the chat. So let us know if you are a WOSB, because there's 5% of that money that's reserved only for you. SDB, which is your small disadvantaged business. Again, this is where 8A comes in. So if you qualify for this, and it's based on your socio and economic status, there's a 2-year requirement for you to be able to get your 8A. So once you become a government contractor, I would say get some subcontracts under your belt, and that qualifies as your past performance. And then after that, then you can now be able to apply. We take small business owners who are government contractors about a year into being a government contractor to start them on the process for 8A. And it's because it's a lot of paperwork. We do have an 8A boot camp that we do, and it's just getting everything ready for that boot camp. And during the boot camp, we're having them be able to apply. And then the service disabled veteran-owned small business or a veteran-owned small business, so you have to have been a veteran. You have to have the paperwork for that, and then you apply through VA for that. And again, 3% of that money goes to veteran-owned small business. I see a lot of veteran-owned small business contracts or procurements out there that you have to be a registered VOSB to be able to even apply for those. So if you are a VOSB, put that out there on the chat. Let me know who you are. Hubzone, it's based on a Hubzone map, and this SBA.gov has this map where you can find out if you're in a Hubzone area. And with that, after you become a government contractor, then that will be the first application that I would tell you go and do. Go register for a Hubzone, because again, there's money just sitting waiting for Hubzone companies. They cannot find them. Hubzone is basically you're in an underutilized area, and it's an underutilized zip code. And I've had people who were like, hey, we're in this area, we're not in a Hubzone, but I can get an office across the street because across the street, that's a Hubzone area. I'm like, go get that office. So if you can get into a Hubzone area and be able to get that Hubzone certification, do that. because there's money again. 3% of that money is just sitting there waiting for you. So next one is, how do you find these subcontract and contract opportunities? So I talked in my story, I talked about, hey, I just put my resume out there. So if you're your business, and a lot of times we are, as small business owners, we are the company. So if you're the company, you put your resume out there, and based on your resume, you're gonna get lots of hits. And you're looking for a subcontractor to a prime who's got a government contract, or you're looking for a prime contractor who's got a government contract. And then once they start talking to you about that position, let them know you can only do it as a corp to corp, meaning you want to be a subcontractor under that. So once you do that, now that past performance, as soon as you start that work, you're gaining past performance, which as a government contractor, that is gold. Past performance is how the government knows you have experience in your area of expertise. And they don't want to just hire a company that they don't know that you can do the work. They want you to show that you have experience, and that comes from your past performance. So that'll be the first thing that I say, put your resume out there, get some subcontracts. If you know of any subcontractor or prime contractor that's already doing work, that's already got a contract, you can contact them and see if they can hire you, or you can put some bodies on that contract. And it depends on whether you're doing services or products. The other part is finding prime contractors who are planning to bid on new contracts, and they can either use you as a resource, or you could be a teaming partner. So those are some of the ways I would say that you can find some subcontract and the contract opportunities. The other ways, so here I have our COVID-19 contracts awards. So I did a search and I used fpds.gov. So Danielle, thanks. You guys can click on that. Danielle just put a link in the chat. Click on that. I'm gonna get to that shortly. But when you do click on that, click on, as soon as it pops up, click on it, you'll have about 16 pages of COVID-19 contracts that have been awarded. So here's some things I want you to look at, and I did highlight some in yellow, some of the things I wanted you to look at there. So action obligation dollars, that's the amount of money for that contract. And that's what you want to look at. Then date signed, and again, I pulled these just showing May 2020. So the contract might have been awarded in April, but the work started or ended in May. So that's what you'll see there. Contracting office agency. This is the agency that awarded the contract. This is good to know because number 3 on here, this is helping you with marketing. How do you know which agencies to market to? So this is a good way to know that if you see COVID-19 contracts being awarded from a certain agency like VA or USDA, you want to know, especially if it's in your NAICS code that you have. So if it's a NAICS code that you already have as you're selling that your product or service, you want to pay attention to the contracting agency, because that contracting agency will let you know they're doing business and they're offering contracts based on that NAICS code. And now you know who to market to. The vendor name, DUNS and CAGE code. I want to show you that DUNS and CAGE code plays an important part in getting a contract. So that's how you know which vendors are getting these awards. That's your competitor, but hey, here's the other part of it. That vendor can also be your partner. Now you could have the information if they're in your state. You contact that vendor and say, hey, I saw you got a COVID-19 award. We can help with this. We do this. And we would love to be a subcontractor for you. If they already got the contract, more than likely they need help filling those deliverables. So if you can help them, reach out to that vendor, find their information, contact them, and see how you could get on that contract with them. So that's another way of you getting contracts. Socioeconomic data, look at that, because some of these are awarded only because they were in that socioeconomic status. So only because they were a woman-owned small business, they might have gotten that award. Keywords, I use COVID-19 as a keyword here just to get these awards that's in that link. So look at that, and you could do your own search, but that's what I search for. Principal NAICS code, we talked about NAICS code. Look at the NAICS code because that tells you what product or service was bought. Description, it just gives you a little more information as to what exactly were they purchasing. And in one of them, I think they had PPE as one. So that gives you PPE, and everybody know that's a huge item right now. So if you're doing anything with that, they're looking for you. Number of offers received, look at that. A lot of these that I put in there, it was only offered to one company. That means that company got the award. They didn't have any competition. So click on that. I'm running out of time, so I'm not going to go through that, but that's just a resource for you just to see, for you to be able to look at and see some of those awards that were made. So here's COVID-19 opportunities, and here I'm providing the link to you on the right. Again, you're going to get these slides, but I'm going to just go through a couple of these. So solicitation name, it tells you what they're looking for. With this, again, I did a search in beta.sam.gov, and my keyword was COVID-19, since that's what this talk is about today. And so I searched, these are upcoming opportunities. So this one, it's a sole source. They're looking for, and this is the Department of Army, they're looking for hotel space, motel space. If you know you can provide that to them, you can respond to this. The date for this response is due on June 15th at 12 o'clock. And make sure you're staying within the time frame that they're giving. Another one here, they're looking for far UV lights, and this is Department of Energy. And the NAICS code here is other lighting equipment manufacturing. The next one here is Janitorial Services. This is huge during COVID-19. I can tell you it will go all the way up to probably a year from now. They're still going to be looking for janitorial services because somebody's got to clean, make sure all the surfaces and everything's clean during this time. This is huge. Think of all the federal government buildings that needs janitorial services right now. And this one, the date is today. I guess we're about to pass this one. But I'm sure there are going to be several other janitorial opportunities if you're a janitorial company. And then the last one here, they're looking for medical automated system technology. So they're basically trying, this is based on research, and they're looking for research work to help with trying to come up with a cure for COVID-19. And again, this is I see this one a lot also, where they're looking for companies that can help with research. So again, this is, I would just pulled some of these links, but I also provided with you beta.sam.gov where you can go and find some of these opportunities. So I just talked about 3 steps to get paid selling your goods and services. And here we talked about registering as a government contractor, how to use your socioeconomic status, how to find those subcontracting opportunities. Daniel just put out another link. That's a link to an offer that we have, and this offer is only good to today, ends at 11:30 p.m. today. Click on it, read through it, and it has some great offers that we're sharing with you. 50%. So again, if you are not a government contractor, we could help you with becoming a government contractor in 2 days. We're offering a bootcamp bundle. You get the virtual V-GovCon bootcamp 2 days, and we go up to about 7 hours of helping you apply to become a government contractor. And then with that, we're also offering our 6 months of our free V-GovCon Aqua membership. So click on the link, the offers are there. And once you get that link, the offer, the promo code is COVID-19. If you're a small business owner and you need to get all your accounting in place, meaning your taxes, right now, COVID-19 PPP loan is now the thing to go and get. And this is just money the federal government's offering to you to help you with your operations of your company. We can help you with that process. We can also help you with, after you get the PPP loan, how do you set up your accounting for that? And so we have what we call our small business owner accounting bundle that would help you. And again, this will be 50% off, 12 months free, and you get our Aqua membership for free. Then we have our GovCon accounting bundle. If you're already a government contractor, then this is for you. This is where we have our presidential accounting package. We're taking 50% off of that. And then we're throwing in a free 12 months of our tribe membership. Our V-GovCon tribe membership is only for government contractors. So if you're on the call, if you're a government contractor already, what we're offering with our tribe membership is partnership, where we've got contracting vehicles that we already have. We're always looking for partners. With the tribe membership, we can help you also with responding. This helps with your price proposal. If you're not familiar with how to do that, we provide all of that as a service to you. Again, 50% off. And here, ending here. So if you have any questions, or a new membership site is about to be launched soon. So if you want to sign up for that, you go to learn.v-pmc.com and you can sign up there. And once the site is up and running, we'll be able to send you that information first. And that's all I had. So thanks for calling in. I'm now going to open it up to Danielle, if you have anything to share with everyone, and also for questions. Thank you. Yes, our booth is V-Project Management Consulting LLC, so you can find us there. Now I'll be there in the booth, and we'll be able to answer your calls, your chats. Thank you, everyone, and meet me over in our booth. Thanks again. Thank you. Bye.